Shalom. Before I begin this video, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Also, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that continue to rule very well to this very day, that is feeding the flock through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. And also, Shalom to the hopefully elect that's laboring this work as well, giving your due diligence to make your call and election sure by spreading this gospel to the members of the hopefully elect in all faith, truth, sincerity, and all charity. Also, once again, showing forth your faith in this ministry and giving all diligence to make your calling and election sure in all faith, truth, sincerity, and all charity. Now, the topic of this video is going to be entitled "The Court Which Is Without the Temple," okay, or "The Court Without the Temple," okay, which is a prophecy within the scriptures in the book of Revelations concerning the temple that is being built to this very day. And as you see, you know, if you're in the know and you've been learning the scriptures underneath the tutelage of the men of Great Millstone, started with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and on down to the brothers that are also teaching as well, you will know that the temple that the scriptures speak about, in which the topic that always being brought up amongst the modern day Christians is concerning the third temple, okay, in which the third temple is being built to this very day, okay, because you know, the people, they believe that the third temple is going to be a physical temple in which you know, it's going to be either brought down from the skies or being physically built in this time today, okay, in which when you go into the third temple, you know, really that temple is being built right now, all right. It's not being built with hands, okay, because like Yahushai, when he was in the flesh, you know, he was speaking concerning himself when he said that you know, that he would destroy this temple and rebuild it in 3 days. And also there's another level towards that, okay? Because not only was he talking about his body, right, which was a miracle that happened, that took place, and which was also prophesied, but also the temple, which he also mentioned, was concerning the temple of the elect of the nation of Israel, all right, the temple of Jerusalem, all right, which is going into the temple that's being built today, okay, because there's a scripture, if I can get it real quick. Let me go back here. So it's in the same chapter, but I'm gonna go ahead and start off at verse 1, and I'm gonna skip down to the precept that I'm mentioning concerning the temple that's being built, in which you know, like I mentioned before, concerning Yahushai, when he said that that he was to destroy this temple and rebuild it in 3 days, okay? Because if you read in the scriptures, it shows you that Yahushai, when he was crucified and he died, after 3 days, you know, he rose again, okay? Which is spiritual in itself, because Yahushua, being the head of the church, you know, being the head of the men of the Lord, seated at the right hand of the Father, you know, in like manner, the temple itself is going to be risen back up and build it again in that same time frame. I'm going to show you. This is Revelation chapter 11. I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, "And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of the Most High, and the altar and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple," all right, is the point I was mentioning earlier at the beginning of the video, or should I say the title of this video, "The court which is without the temple, leave out and measure it not, okay, for it is given unto the Gentiles," okay. So in that the reed that was like unto a rod is talking about this word, okay. This is the measuring stick, Okay, and this is the measure of a man when he is born into this life. Okay, is whether he's living his life by the scriptures and what it tells you how to live, or he's not. Okay, and the only ones that are actually trying to live their lives to the best of their ability, according to what the scriptures say, are the elect of the nation of Israel. Okay, but the rest of Israel is not abiding by these same words. Okay, that's why that reed was given unto him to measure the court. Okay, and or should I say measure the temple? But outside of the temple, all right, what does it say? Measure it not, leave it out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. Okay, and you know the things that are outside the temple are what? Profane. Okay, because the word profane comes with the word profanus, which means outside the temple. Okay. So like it says here, for it is given unto the Gentiles. All right, and the Gentiles is also going to the other nations. Okay, because really there's a difference between the natural Gentile and the Israelite foreigners. Okay, because the Israelite foreigners are considered other nations. Why? Because if you have someone that's a natural Israelite, right, they can still be an Israelite in the flesh. But if they refuse to accept that, then guess what? They're considered what? A heathen man. Let me get that. I'm not gonna make this too long. This is the book of Matthew chapter 18, verse 17. I'm gonna try to get through these precepts real quick. Matthew chapter 18, verse 17, it says, and if he neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. All right, it's talking about this word, this gospel, okay? Which is what? That Israel is returning back to our natural state, which is righteousness, and that the Lord is coming back to deliver us out of this captivity, okay? I read on, said, but if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as an heathen man and a publican. Okay, so the ones that neglect to hear the church, right, which is this body that's teaching the word, he is considered a heathen man. Okay, you're considered another nation. You're considered a heathen. All right, you're considered amongst the other nations that have no part in this. Okay, so let me go back to Revelation chapter 11. This is at verse. That's it for on verse 2. Let me go ahead and jump down to, let's see. All right, I'm gonna skip down to verse 10. All right. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. Okay, and those two prophets represents the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. All right, those are the men that are part of the northern kingdom and southern kingdom. All right, which are bad today. All right, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Okay. Let's see, reading on. Verse 11, it says, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Right. So, like it says here in verse 11, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them. So after 3 days and a half, after those 3 days were expired, all right, plus a half, then the spirit of life entered into us, and we stood upon our feet. And that is the beginning of the third temple. Okay, now you're starting to see the elect coming together. All right, after 3 days and a half, which is 350 years. Okay, and it was started. The building process was started by Abba Bivens, which was returning as John the Baptist. Okay, because he is John the Baptist. He's also Elijah. Okay. And he came back in this time to fulfill prophecy, okay? Where it says he shall set the heart of the sons to the fathers and the heart of the fathers to the sons, okay? And prepare the way for the coming of Yahushua. And now you see that the building, all right, or the temple, or the building of the temple is now almost complete, okay? Because guess what? The elect are already sealed, all right? So once they all return in their proper lots, all right, when they fully return, that's when the Lord is going to take us back, all right, and establish his kingdom, okay? And when I say take us back, I'm talking about taking us back into the land of Israel, all right? And then from there, righteousness will proceed out of Israel, okay? Now, I'm going to jump from there. Let me grab two last precepts and we'll close it on out. It's the book of John, chapter 4. And let's see. I'm going to get John chapter 4, verse 22. It says, "You worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews." Right, and the Jews, not only is it talking about Judah, Benjamin, and Levi of the southern kingdom, also the northern kingdom is included in that, okay? So salvation is of the Israelites, okay? It says, verse 23 said, "But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship him," okay? Because this woman was a heathen, all right? Because he said, neither you, and verse 21 says, neither you or your fathers will worship in this mountain, okay? Let me jump to 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 56. Verse 50, actually, it's like I'm starting verse 54. "And after these things," or it's like it's 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 54, "And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen." All right? So out of Adam came we all, right? And even the ones that were chosen, okay? Because out of Adam came a direct line which was chosen, all right? And that chosen line is back today, okay? Verse 55 says, "All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel." Okay? So the other people that are not of that chosen line, the Lord has regarded them as spittle. Also in the book of Isaiah chapter 40, he said he was regarded the nations as nothing and less than nothing and vanity. Okay? So again, going back to the title of the video, the court which is without the temple is not measured. All right? For it is given unto who? The Gentiles. All right? The ones that are outside of the circle. All right? Especially you other nations. Okay? But 2/3 are going to come back. All right? They're going to come back in the kingdom as our children. Okay? They're not going to come back the first go around with being able to receive the first resurrection, which is going to come by us being delivered by the chariots. But they're going to be in the kingdom. They're going to be all right. But they're not going to receive the perks and the benefits of being a part of the first fruits. Okay. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out on that note. Lord's will is edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well to this day. And also Shalom, peace and safety, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's laboring his work. Give me a diligence to make your calling, election sure, in faith, in truth, sincerity, and all charity. And with that, I'm going to say Shalom.